Actually, it was a very mundane homecoming.
Just how you like it.
Just exactly how I like it. It was nice to see some of the students out and about.
Hmm.
For the last year and a half, we've been dealing with COVID. It's nice to see students coming here, going to the deli, going to places, spending money, keeping our business going. Uh, but the number of calls to law enforcement were down, which is
Yeah.
what we like. I believe the vast majority of our students that uh, experience homecoming and enjoy it are not having any interactions with law enforcement.
Hmm.
They're not causing trouble. It's usually a very small portion of either students or people that come out of town that cause the problems. Fortunately, this year we did not see a large volume of cases coming through.
Yeah, that's good news. Good news. All right. Meanwhile, it seems we get something every day from the courthouse as you deal with what turned into a pretty large backlog of cases thanks to the pandemic. There have been sentencing proceedings, there have been trials, there have been other court proceedings, hearings, and things of that nature happening on a regular basis now, haven't there? Quite some time, too.
Yes, we've been plowing through a lot of cases recently. We have our trial list that we're still certainly working through. The attorneys in my office are working very diligently to work through as many cases as we can in the appropriate way to make sure the rights of our victims are there and the victims are satisfied with the outcomes of the case. We're looking at prioritizing serious cases to get them to trial as soon as we can.
Hmm.
Work out cases that maybe are less serious and we just need to be worked out at this point. Um, we'll be putting out a press release later today, though, because we continue to be diligent on the fight of drugs. Drugs in this county are everywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yesterday, in one of our sentence hearings, we had Charles Miller, who was involved in several operations of methamphetamines. In fact, he was convicted of having approximately 300 grams of methamphetamines in our county. So yesterday, he was sentenced to 4.5 to 10 years in state prison. So he won't be in the county for several years. Hopefully he gets any help he needs to deal with any addiction issues. But more importantly, he won't be able to sell and distribute any of that garbage throughout our county.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the things that people probably don't realize as they should, is that when somebody is taken down, whether it's misdemeanor drug charges, possession charges, or it's a more serious case, intent to distribute or distribution of drugs, that those ones where you're distributing drugs to others, you're selling drugs, you're giving drugs, you're a creating the potential that somebody else could get addicted, and B, you have the real potential to drag younger people into it and start them on a lifetime of destructive behaviors.
Absolutely. When you have the drug dealers in our county, they operate very similarly to a lot of our cigarette companies. They're looking for young customers that they can get hooked onto this poison so that they continue to have a customer base to buy their product. And that's what they're selling. They're selling poison. Methamphetamine, heroin, fentanyl, it's poison. And as they try to drag more and more uh, young people into uh, that cycle of addiction and to sell them what they're selling, all they're trying to do is line their pockets.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So those are going on, those ongoing cases. One of the things I wanted to ask you about today, and use the news that came out yesterday about the guy from Johnstown who's accused of shooting another guy and then dumping the body here in Westmoreland County, is the cooperation aspect between Indiana County and Cambria County in this case, but your cooperation with others from other counties and the determination of, okay, where does the trial take place? Where is the case handled judicially? Um, uh, all of those things, they have to be worked out. This one, it's a fairly obvious one. But there are cases where crimes are committed in multiple counties and jurisdiction becomes an issue. And I know that that cooperation is really important.
Cooperation amongst law enforcement is vital. There's no criminal that is driving down Route 22 and sees a county line and says, "Wait a second, I shouldn't cross the county line here."
They're tougher over there.
Yeah. So, the cooperation between the counties is vital. In the homicide case out of Johnstown, I was on the phone that day with Greg, the district attorney out in Cambria County that day. We were on the phone every day for a long period of time working at the details.
Hmm.
We had a body that was found here in Indiana County. We were able to determine the crime scene was in Cambria County. We continued that cooperation up until they filed the indictment and charged the individual the other day.
Yeah.
And we continue to be working together on that because with the body being here in Indiana County and actions being taken in Cambria County, we use a lot of our resources in the investigation that may require a search warrant here in Indiana County because we're looking for something that may have occurred here or Cambria County or Westmoreland County. And I cannot understate the work and dedication of the Pennsylvania State Police on that case. The large volume of warrants that went through, the large amount of electronic evidence that they had to plow through in order to put together a really solid timeline and a really solid case against that individual. Yeah. They never stop working on that case.
And those drug cases, they frequently cross county lines because there's multiple the drugs are coming from out of the area, they're coming into this area, and then out of this area the crimes are occurring in multiple counties. So that's really important. Really good news last week, you cooperating in a great way with Indiana Borough Police and in getting Axel a new ride, Axel the comfort dog. Your office involved in that. That's a pretty neat thing, isn't it?
That's a great thing for our county. Throughout our county we have drug dogs. We have explosives dogs. We have a lot of canines that work different avenues in law enforcement. What we sometimes, when we're looking at those assets, is what can we do for our victims? When Chief Shaw and I were sitting down talking about it, that was a no-brainer. That was an easy decision to make. Having a comfort dog in our county that we can call to a scene of a crime, to sit with a child victim or even an adult who's dealing with a trauma they might never have anticipated dealing with, and to have a comfort dog there that's trained to work with them to help them through that situation. That was such an easy decision to make. Yeah. Axel's already been at work. When I drive by the schools in the morning, I see Officer Hogan and Axel there at the school. Every single kid's walking up to that dog and petting that dog and starting their day off with a smile. It's really building a great relationship between our young generation and law enforcement, which I'm very happy to see. But unfortunately, there's times in law enforcement where we're dealing with a trauma, we're dealing with sex assaults, we're dealing with very significant crimes. And if you watch a dog like Axel come into that situation and sit by the person, it almost opens the floodgates of being able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And we're able to help gain evidence in a case and help get closure for that victim.
Just half a minute left with District Attorney Bob Manzi this morning. Anything folks need to know about things that are coming up? I know that trials will continue and
our trials will continue. We'll continue our work. We will continue to ask two things of the members of our county. I will always say, please don't be drinking and driving. Our officers are always out there. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm on the scene of a DUI accident almost every other week. So please be careful about that. And if you have information about any drug trading, drug trafficking, just something that a house in your neighborhood where it doesn't sit right in your gut, please call our hotline, 724-541-7777. Give us the information. We want to be able to attack the problem.
He is Indiana County District Attorney Bob Manzi. Thanks for the hustle this morning.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
It is the